There's a man in a 46 Sports blazer on your screen. That means something very important must be about to happen. And indeed, we are ready to reveal our schedule for our 31st season of high school basketball coverage on TV 46. We're really looking forward to it. It will start on the first Friday of December. And if you've been around the area for any time at all, you're aware of your surroundings. You probably didn't have to think much of what we would have for our first game, because it's what we've had for our first game for years. It's Elkhart Central and Elkhart Memorial for the final time in the regular season with the matchup at Northside Gym. As you can see from these shots, the atmosphere at Northside for this season opener is unparalleled. I don't know how good the Blazers or the Chargers are going to be this year. Quite frankly, for the season opener, it doesn't matter because they're going to have somewhere between 5,000 to 7,000 people at Northside Gym for this final go-round between the two schools, and it should be really exciting. Memorial does have Darjon Lewis and Braxton Miller coming back. Elkhart Central with a new coach in Scott Sequel, who may only have the 1 year at the helm of the Blazers. We'll see how it goes. That's Friday, December 6th. Then a surprise for you. We don't do this very often, but we're going to have a midweek game in December, a Tuesday night over at Alumni Gym on the campus of St. Joe High School. That's because the two most highly recruited juniors in South Bend this year are going head-to-head in this game. You've got South Bend Riley with Blake Wesley, who's getting recruited by Notre Dame and IU and Butler, among others, going head-to-head with the St. Joe Indians and J.R. Konechny, their sharpshooting outside shooter who is already committed to the University of Notre Dame. Mark Johnson's team expected to be very solid this year with Konechny and Jack Fuda and Robles in there. So this should be a fun night of basketball. It's a midweek game. Of course, we'll stream it live on Facebook. And then we will have it in prime time on Wednesday night, December 11th at 6 p.m. So that's game number 2. Then we go back to the Friday night schedule, and we go back to the Friday nights in that week. And we've got a great game in the Northern Indiana Conference. Yes, Jaden Ivey is no longer at Marion, but they do have some talent there for Rod Berger and his team this year. Jerry Bracey is back. Kaleo Kakalia is back. Michael Bothman is back. And so the Marion Knights will be a factor in the Northern Indiana Conference race, as they always are. But they have to go over to Hadaway's Shack and take on Chad Johnston's Adams Eagles. Adams dominated by juniors this year. They've got Sidney Jeffries back. They've got Quintez Columbus back. Lynn King is back. And then they've added in Braden Sexton, who transferred down from Cassopolis, where he helped that team reach a regional. Adams will be a very talented team and a tough team to beat, and always a great environment at the Shack. So that's on December 13th. Let's go to December 20th, our last game right before Christmas. It's Christmas time. You want a lot of red in the stands. So how about we start with Plymouth? They've got a lot of red, and they've got a sharpshooting guard by the name of Jake Reichert, who is fun to watch. And Ryan Bale's team will be loading it up from the outside with Reichert sniping from out there. So they're going to go over to the Panther Pit and take on Aaron Wolf and the Northwood Panthers in what has become a staple of the 46 schedule. You see the game between Plymouth and Northwood at Plymouth last year. Northwood has Ben Vincent back. They've got Trent Edwards back. Aaron Wolf's team should be improved this year. Should be a honey of a matchup to send us into the Christmas break on December 20th. Then we take 3 weeks off because, quite frankly, this crew that works around here at TV 46, they deserve it. They've been working hard since August. They deserve some time off. We'll come back on January 10th, and we'll have a headliner in the Northern Lakes Conference. Doug Ogle and the Warsaw Tigers. Well, they're always good in the NLC, aren't they? And they're going to be good again as they're going to go and take on Northridge. We had the game from the Tiger Den last year. This year it's going to be in Middlebury. Warsaw's got Wyatt Amos and Blake Marsh. You might remember them from football season. Well, they can hit it from the outside too, and they're going to be taking on a Northridge team with guys like that young man, Sam Smith, and the big fella down low, Alex Stauffer. Stauffer, one of the top big men in the area. Should be a fun watch for you, January 10th from Middlebury with Warsaw and Northridge. Then a couple of teams that, quite frankly, we really don't talk about all that much. January 17th, Hoosier North Athletic Conference. In fact, I don't remember in the 15 years that I've been at WHME where we've had the Knox Redskins on for basketball, but we will this year. Knox is going to go into Dale E. Cox Gymnasium and take on LaVille on January 17th. Michael Edison has Cooper Wazorek back. He's got Leighton Zarnecki. The Lancers have really become one of the area's top programs over the last few years. Now, they lost a lot to graduation, but they should still be a strong team this year, taking on Cole McIntyre and the Redskins. That is on January 17th. Another staple of the schedule has become a rivalry over in the eastern part of our viewing area from the Northeast Corner Conference. Darren asked me yesterday on Twitter, Westview at Fairfield? Yes, Westview at Fairfield. 2 years ago, we did the game between Westview at Fairfield. Westview was ranked number 1 going into the game, and Fairfield managed to knock them off. Now, Charlie Yoder and the Warriors of Westview go into Fairfield. Nolan Sherrick, that young man, is back. He will be headlining Randy Deshawn's first team at Fairfield this year as they've got a new coach. So should be a lot of fun. Charlie Yoder really tore it up on the summer circuit this year. Westview expected to be ranked very highly in 2A once again. They'll take on Fairfield in that great rivalry game on January 24th. Now, January 31st, well, we've got a decision to make. We're not going to make it today. We'll make it down the road. We're trying to choose between a pair of games. Should I tell you what the pair of games are? Yeah, why not? Rory says, sure, why not? I'll tell you why not. It's either going to be Penn at Mishawaka or New Prairie at John Glenn. And a lot depends on what we see from those teams in the first 6 weeks of the season. Penn lost a lot to graduation last year, but they do have Carter Hickey and Derek Durda coming back. Mishawaka with Donovan Snyder, you might remember him from football. He's the top returning scorer on their basketball team. New Prairie, of course, Chase Ketterer. He's just a terrific athlete, the leading returning scorer for the new Cougar coach, Mike Bauer, who used to be at St. Joe. And then John Glenn, a team that doesn't get a lot of pub around here, but they've got a young man named Carter Young, another young man named Porter. Very good team. So we'll see what Travis Hanna and his squad put together, and we'll make a decision on that one somewhere down the road. We do have a game, though, that Saturday night after January 31st. This will be our chance to see the IU recruit, Trey Galloway, and Culver Academy take on one of the state powers in Cathedral down at the Fleet Gymnasium. Now, Culver was a wonderful host to us last year at the Fleet Gymnasium. And even though they've lost Ethan Britton Watts, they still have that young man, Trey Galloway, who's going to IU. They've got Deontay Craig, who's a D1 talent, headed to Iowa. They've got Nick Hiddle healthy this year. Hiddle's going to Indiana State. So they are loaded with talent down there on the banks of Lake Maxinkuckee. And we will see the Eagles and all the cadets salute as they take on the Fighting Irish of Cathedral on Saturday night, February 1st. February 7th, we'll finally get into the girls' schedule with the sectional semifinal that night. And then February 14th, Valentine's Day. Well, if you're going to have Valentine's Day, you got to have some red. So let's bring back Plymouth and let's send them down to take on Warsaw in what has become one of the great rivalries of Northern Indiana. These two just do not like each other, and it will be the hostilities resuming on a all-day Valentine's Day. So it should be a lot of fun down at the Tiger Den. Our chance to see Plymouth and Warsaw renew that rivalry. Now, on February 21st, we go back into the NIC. This was a very popular showcase game last year when it was played at Hadaway Shack. We're going to move it over to the south side of South Bend this year. Last year, they paid tribute to South Bend Central, and Adams and Riley put on a very good show for the fans. Hopefully, it'll be a full house coming out again on that Friday night in late February when Adams and Riley renew their rivalry. This is one of the great matchups always in South Bend during the year. Riley with a brand new coach in Andre Owens this year. Adams, as we mentioned, that very junior-dominated team. And then there's the girls' semi-state on February 22nd. February 28th, we close out the boys' regular season with a team that we haven't had on this year. Who could that be? Well, what if we have Marion go over to South Bend, Washington, the Great Western Forum? Ryan Vargas' team loaded with senior talent this year. Guys like DeMarcus Vaughn and Jylan Petty have to find a way to solve Marion. Who knows? Maybe a share of the NIC championship will be at stake in this one. I really have a lot of belief in Washington this year as a team that could contend for the NIC title. Girls State Finals, February 29th. We take you all the way through the boys tournament in the month of March. So, one little graphic to put together that schedule. Here it is, folks. There you see our 2019-2020 TV46 high school basketball schedule. We are looking forward to it for our 31st year. Live streaming whenever possible. And then, of course, most of the time, you'll see those games Friday night at 11 and Saturday morning at 9. We do hope you'll join us throughout the year for the best in high school basketball coverage right here on TV46.